The question Yami did not tidy it out very well was, when you left 6 years ago, what was the value of our exports? Can you say that now?
Well, 6 years ago is a long time. I cannot be able to tell you this one. I cannot. Honestly, I don't have the statistics presently.
Okay, but on the average, you want to believe that there's more imports than exports.
Yeah, there is more import actually than export, because Nigeria is more of an import-dependent country. We bring in more goods than we export. And that is why the government make that policy of free duty on all goods that are exported from Nigeria. It's just to encourage people to be able to have local manufacturing, and then have the agricultural product to be exported at duty-free rates.
Okay, now let's just come back to the studio. We have a beautiful farmer, I will call her, in the house. When we talk about diversifying Nigeria's economy, you're a farmer, and I'm sure you want to say it should be agriculture, right?
I wouldn't even say that. In addition to farming, I have another business, Sahara Impressa, which is a spa and salon in Abuja. I do consultancy, I do so many things, but I'm passionate about agriculture. And I don't just farm, I actually create agricultural technologies. So we make greenhouses, we make hydroponics equipment, and we're competing with the foreign companies that are importing those goods into Nigeria, whereas I feel government should be supporting domestic production. So I think if you want to diversify the economy, you think of finding ways where you can keep your money in circulation in the economy. So if you're going to promote agriculture, then start to promote processing, start to promote all of the downstream services of agriculture. It's not just farm. We farm so much and we have so much food waste. You know, let's think of ways in which we can make sure that the food that that's being produced is being produced efficiently, so that we're not just clearing so much land and saying, okay, everybody wants to get into agriculture. Then you have desertification because you're clearing land, you're wasting water. The land that you have, how do you make it more productive? How do you take the small-scale farmers and scale them up? Government should be investing in Nigeria being more technologically advanced in agriculture. They should be investing in getting youth like me to find agriculture attractive, because you can add coding into agriculture. You can automate some of the systems. It's not just about tractors, you know. So government should look to that. I mean, I think that the last administration, the Ministry of Agriculture, was focusing on importing tractors and having tractor leasing schemes. Why are we not building tractors in Nigeria? If Innocent is building cars in Nigeria and other companies are building cars in Nigeria, why are we not building those tractors and other things in Nigeria? When you talk about diversifying the economy, we jumped so quickly from agriculture to, we didn't even really get to enjoy agriculture back in the day. We jumped so quickly to a service economy. We missed, and people always say that the agricultural revolution leads way to the industrial revolution, because with agriculture will come all of these additional services, additional manufacturing, and then of course you get into textiles and every other thing. But then when that happens, it also now means people are a bit more upwardly mobile, and they get into the services industry. Okay, but we've just jumped.
Let's just slow down a bit and step back. Before the oil boom, we had agriculture as a mainstay of the Nigerian economy. Then we also had, but from there we had cotton, we had textiles and all of that. So if we say we jumped too quickly into the services, is it possible to go back and resuscitate the textiles? Is it possible? And how quickly can that be done? To resuscitate the cotton farms and then get down to the textile industry?
I think that we want quick fixes. When you look at other countries, it took time. You look at Brazil, it took time. You look at the United States, it took time. And they developed infrastructure based on those things. The American railway system was, and cold cars on the railway system was built because you wanted to get the cows in the Midwest to the East Coast. You know, so there was a need and things came out of that. But here we just say, oh, let's just put a roundabout there because they're in UK. But why? We have to think of why. What are the reasons? So if we're going to now say, okay, let's start to improve the textile industry, what are we doing? Like, how are we supporting our local manufacturers of clothing as well, so that when we're producing the materials, we're also using them internally, and then we're also exporting them. I think China, as much as people say China doesn't focus on human rights and things like that, China took all the models from around the world and they made it a hybrid that worked for them. So I think that definitely we should focus on those things, but we need to find out how it works best for Nigeria.
Okay, because I was going to ask, where do we start from really? We have more than 84 million arable land. We have all that it takes to be a good country in terms of agriculture. Where do you think we should start from to make sure that, yes, in diversifying the economy, of course we have the solid mineral areas that we can look into, we have tourism, but for agriculture, where do you think we should start from?
It's hard because you can't just start in one place. You have to put money into the entire value chain for it to get the traction that you need, for it to get the facts, if you want to get a fast result. So I'd say for agriculture, you'd want to start putting, and when I say investing in, you want to facilitate private sector to invest. Government should not and cannot do it all. Government can help to empower small-scale farmers. Government can make policies that say that any corporate farming company or agricultural company that wants to come in must make sure that they're doing it in a socially inclusive way so they don't displace small-scale farmers. But you need foreign investment. You can't do agriculture without that, but you also need people to domestically invest in those things. Then you also need people to invest in technology. So I'd say focusing on irrigation systems, which I felt like government was moving towards. The only problem is that the money that's coming in for those things is being, like if they say 1 billion for this, the truth is that only 250,000 will really go to that because of the waste that government seems to have. So if they're going to do it now, make sure that all of the resources go to those things. The irrigation projects that they're doing, they should continue them and they should complete them. And then now they should let the farmers now have access to technology, access to tractors, access, for example, the tomato farming. Why not get them into greenhouses? Why not get them to use hydroponics? That's what we sell, but it's also something that will help increase yield. Why not get people to farm in Lagos and use cubicle farming, where you can farm indoors and you can stack actual containers and people can farm inside of those. You get all of the jobless area boys to work and they're doing something that's actually relaxing. It's not outdoor stressful farming. Why not focus on processing? You have very cool companies like Tomato Joss that are focused on tomato processing. You have other companies that look at vinegar. We eat so much ketchup, but we import it from Egypt. Why not get companies that make vinegar? We make maize, and vinegar is made from maize. Why not have somebody who does that? There's so many things in the value chain that can be done.
Okay, let's get back to Mr. Bello. Mr. Bello, you're a farmer and you focused on rice, for instance. She's talked about getting more investment from government into the agricultural sector in Nigeria and policies that will encourage foreign investors to come in. What would you say? Would you agree with what she has put forward as her own submission as regards this?
Yeah, I totally agree with what he has been saying because farming is now becoming more of technology driven than what we used to have. For a commercial farming, you need heavy equipment. You need tractors of 90, 100, 200 horsepower to cover maybe 50, 60 hectares per day.